Hey, Drama 15, my name's Steve. Today I'm going to be talking about the play I watched at LMC in the Pittsburgh campus. It was called No Way Out. Um, it was a play about a family called the Dutch family, or the Deutsch family, and they were Jewish people. They were Jewish German citizens living in Germany at the time of the Holocaust, and the story is actually a collection of letters that kind of goes back and forth from the daughter Frida, her husband Stefan, and then the parents who are living with the son in Bolivia, and then they have another kid in America who immigrated from Germany to get away before the Holocaust got too bad, and Frida and Stefan end up becoming trapped. They remain optimistic in the beginning of the play. They're talking about, they have options. They're going to get out. At one point, they could get over to Brazil, but it falls through. They're on a waiting list to get to the United States, and they're too high on the waiting list, so they can't get over there. I think they had the option to go to Bolivia at first, but they didn't. It wasn't that serious. The situation wasn't as serious as they had thought it was. They weren't. They thought they were. They didn't realize how crazy Hitler was until they started systematically taking their rights away. From what I understand, Stephen was married to a Jewish lady, and he was still treated as he was Jewish himself. They seized his bank account. They took his business away. He was a very successful business person who was left with nothing. Not even they needed $350 at one point to get to Bolivia, and then there was a political change in Bolivia, so they couldn't get over there. And then the money was pretty much they weren't going to get out of Germany. It was a sad situation. You just watching the story from beginning and knowing how it plays out, because I've been to history class and stuff. I felt really bad. You really sympathized for him, because I couldn't imagine. And this actually kind of the play. Everything I had learned about the Holocaust before, I thought it was I thought it happened quickly. I thought it happened within a couple of years, but no, it was drawn out even longer than that. And before people were getting sent to concentration camps, they were already suffering. They were being treated less than human. They weren't allowed to go out at certain times. They had to wear marks on their clothing. I'm sure when they did go out, German people probably treated them like shit, because that's what their government had told them was okay. That's what Hitler said was okay, which it wasn't. But sometimes people get under mass hypnosis and start acting like sheep and following the herd. So I could imagine people would be pretty cruel, like like it is present day. People see that other people might feel a certain way about something, and it might not be right. But if people feel comfortable because their opinions align with someone else's, then they tend to go that way. Let's see. Sorry, I'll look at these notes. My printer's giving me problems, so I couldn't print up the page. But the play No Way Out was definitely multicultural. It was based on the persecution of a group of people based on their beliefs, the Jewish people in Germany. So, someone getting persecuted for their beliefs, a culture of people, definitely multicultural play. Let's see what else. The cast was very diverse. There was an African American lady was the secretary. The father was Middle Eastern. One of the Gestapo was a Asian lady. Every continent was represented except Australia and Antarctica, probably. What else? So about the play, let's see. I'll choose an aspect of the play. I'll choose the character development. The character development through the play. In the beginning, you see how normal of a family the Deutsch family was. I mean, tight knit, loving family, close to each other, successful in life, and then Hitler takes over, and then all of a sudden, cancel this scan. Hitler takes over, and you just see their lives change dramatically. I believe two sons and a daughter get out. The parents end up getting out with one of the sons to Bolivia, and then it's Frida and Stephen left, and then they end up having a daughter named Greta, which I thought was crazy to have a daughter at a time like that, because you see the timeline as the play continues and continues, and there's a TV in the background that tells you the date. And just as months go on, the Gestapo will systematically come out and tell you what rights they've taken away, and just making it harder and harder for Jewish people. And you see the optimism that Stephen and Frida have. You see it kind of dwindling, but they still remain hopeful, and I think they remain more hopeful not to. They try to make it a point not to. They don't want to scare their parents, even though I'm sure their parents, they had come from Germany. I'm sure they still kept contact with a couple other people, so they must have known what was going on. But I got to give it to Frida and Stephen. I mean, they're real life accounts. It's it's almost a biographical tale of this exchange between family members across countries, across oceans. But they did a good job of remaining optimistic up until that point where I believe they felt they ran out of options, and I think it was Stephen first went. He tried to pay a guy to get him out of the country, so they could get somewhere. They just need to get out of Germany. I believe the guy got caught, and then Stephen ended up getting caught at the train station. Frida went to meet her the next night, got picked up. So it's my understanding that they probably got shipped to a concentration camp, and Hitler probably killed them. I hope not. I hope maybe they got away and just cut off contact through letters with their family, because maybe it was unsafe to do so. I hope they managed to escape, and I kind of feel like maybe they did, because their daughter Gerda was the aunt of one of the the playwright, the person who wrote the play. Her aunt, or his aunt, was the daughter of Frida and Stefan. So I'd like to think maybe they excuse me. I'd like to think maybe they did escape and lived a better life, but I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine it'd be pretty tough to escape Nazi Germany, especially with all the curfews in place and everything else. It must have been tough to get around. I'm sure if you were out in public at a certain time, you were being questioned if you were or weren't Jewish, and yeah. It must have been a tough situation. It seemed like the whole country was one big prison, and and Jewish people had it the worst. And I got to give it to the play. It was I have ADD, I feel like, so it's hard for me to sit through that whole play. But the play was successful at conveying its message, because I really felt the disparity and just kind of the hopelessness, and it sat heavy on me. It resonated with me more than anything I had learned in history class, because I actually got to read or got to hear actual letters and accounts of what was going on, and then when the actors are portraying it, they did a really good job with their dialogue and with their actions, and I felt it. It resonated with me. So that's my video interview. Thank you guys for everything. I enjoyed reading the discussions throughout class and participating, and I felt like I learned a lot. Through all the plays, really, I enjoyed it. It opened up my mind and kind of, I guess maybe, things that I thought were one way, it made me less naive to the way the world is, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys.